Hello, Tom Maguire. I have another book review for you today, Malcolm Gladwell's Revenge of the Tipping Point. This one's not been out for very long, I think it's just a few months. I'm quite a big fan of Malcolm Gladwell's stuff. This review is specifically on the audiobook though, I haven't actually read the hard copy. I think it's important when you think about Malcolm Gladwell's stuff that he's actually really good in audiobook form. He really puts quite a lot of effort into the production, it's narrated by him. He uses clips from history to highlight his point, and it just makes his storytelling really interesting. He's one of those people who I would say is quite unique when it comes to these audiobooks. I haven't really known any other audio book to be like his, and I think it's worth paying him attention for that reason alone, really. This wasn't my favourite of Malcolm Gladwell's. I really enjoyed Talking to Strangers. I enjoyed David and Goliath. I haven't actually read the original Tipping Point. I've been putting it off for years. I've heard so much good stuff about it that it's almost been one of those books that I just keep telling myself I will come to at some point. I've heard through some of the other reviews that this one isn't really as good as the original, even though it's obviously more up to date. I don't want to give any spoilers particularly, but he talks about COVID pandemic. He talks about white flight. One of the most interesting stories I found was quite early on in the book. I was taking my dog for a walk in the sun and I was listening to it and I was really enjoying it. Bank robberies in LA back in the day, I think between the 50s and the 80s or 90s, and how bank robberies had gone up huge numbers. Everyone was jumping on the bandwagon. You had these one or two different people who were fantastic at it and became infamous. And I really found the storytelling around that really interesting. Some of the chapters after that I felt dropped off a little bit. It kind of lost me a little bit, but then picked up again towards the kind of final third, I would say, and became really interesting again. So no book's perfect, very few books keep me kind of excited and gripped the entire way through. There's often an up and a down, and I think, to be fair, in this book that the down part still played a significant part to the overall story. If you're interested in history, social commentary, Malcolm Gladwell is definitely one of the best nowadays. His original book, Tipping Point, was done 25 years ago, I think. And I think he said that he originally started writing this as a bit of an update to his original book, and then realised there were too many things he wanted to talk about. He wanted to talk about COVID. He wanted to talk about corruption amongst private schools. And because he wanted to talk about these different subjects, it just became a whole new book. So he basically decided to start again. But it's fantastic. It's really, I quite enjoyed it. It doesn't get fantastic reviews in terms of some of his other stuff. But I think sometimes books like that tend to develop over time, Sometimes things might not be instantly gratifying and impressive at first, but in time they tend to prove themselves. I think this is a good one. I highly recommend. Please keep liking and subscribing, and I'll be back soon. Cheers.